Well, welcome to the RunnIT Back Podcast, where we understand that success lives on the other side of hard work, but only if you're willing to wake up and run it back. I'm your host, Tony Hampton, alongside my guy, Reggie Guyton. Today's episode is about leadership, perseverance, mentorship, and building a championship culture. Our guest has spent decades impacting lives through the game of basketball while earning a reputation as one of the most respected leaders in college athletics. Under his leadership, Cal State Fullerton captured multiple Big West Conference championships and NCAA tournament appearances. His commitment to excellence was recently recognized when he was named Big West Coach of the Year, an honor that reflects both his success on the court and his impact on the people around him. From developing NBA talent and mentoring future coaches to creating opportunities through his nationally respected think tank initiative, he's dedicated his career to helping others maximize their potential. Today, we're diving into his coaching journey and the lessons he's learned while building championship teams and championship people. So lock in and get ready for another conversation filled with wisdom, insight, and game-changing perspectives. Please welcome head men's basketball coach at Cal State Fullerton, Dedrique Taylor. What up, Coach Taylor?
What's happening, man? Thanks for having me, man.
Right on, man. Did we do that?
Man, good seeing you, baby.
Yeah, did we do that intro justice for you, man, in terms of...
Yeah, I was trying to figure out who the heck you was talking about. 'Cause I was like, man, that ain't me. That don't sound like nothing that I've done. But it's good to hear stuff like that to be associated with stuff like that. That's awesome, man. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, right. Well, man, welcome to the program. We got a lot we want to dive into. Both Guyton and I have been talking about this for the last couple of weeks, so we're excited to have you on. And kind of where we kind of start is really basic, Dedrique, which really Guyton and I are always really curious about in terms of where did your journey with basketball start? Because you were a player way before you were a coach, so what kind of started that love affair with hoops? I'm always curious to understand where that began for you.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. It began at a super young age. I want to say I was maybe 2 or 4. I am the son of a coach and the son of 2 educators. And so my dad had me in the gym, not necessarily coaching me or doing anything, but his version of babysitting. I was in the gym while he coached his team with the basketball. And that was my first introduction to basketball per se, but my first experience with what it was going to bring to fruition in terms of impact, in terms of legacy, in terms of trials and errors and trials and tribulations and all of the things that we know that life presents to us. I was able to associate it all with what the basketball taught me. Mm-hmm. And that was really my first introduction to the game, to the sport, to the community, and all of the things that have passed us by now, but that was the time.
Yeah, so you started out at Pomona, right? At Pomona High School, where you played ball, and then you moved on. You were fortunate enough to actually play college ball as well and finish your career at UC Davis. Mm-hmm. One of the things that I was kind of curious about is that, and I think Reggie brought this up to me when we were kind of preparing, is that, hey, you're when you're playing ball, you're committed, you're 100% in, and you're going at it on a daily basis. And then when you finish, you're trying to kind of find out what the heck do I want to do next. Mm-hmm. And sometimes coaching for a lot of us is not the avenue that we pursue. So at what point did you say, man, I think I want to transition what I've learned as a player into being a lifetime coach or being in this particular profession?
Yeah, it's actually an interesting story. Once I finished playing, I played a little bit overseas in Denmark and in various countries, trying to, expand what I thought was being a player. And I was fortunate to be able to experience those other countries and be paid at some degree doing that. But As far as my give back, as far as my relationship as a player, what transpired as a player, I actually went the agent route first and foremost, and
I didn't know that.
I was going to right all the wrongs that I experienced in the agent field. I wanted to, hey, make it easier for players through being an agent and getting guys paid and all of the things that we know go into that. I thought mentally, I thought, hey, I want to impact in that capacity in that field, and so I spent probably about a year and a half working as a sports agent with the company out of Oxnard, California, PSI, Preserving to Serve with Integrity. And I'll get to the story in terms of making the transition. But as I was transitioning, I remembered a story that my father shared with me some time ago. He said, "Hey, man, like you only have two things in this world that belong to you, and when you start screwing them up, you are heading in the wrong direction, and that's your name and your word." When you
Mm,
start screwing those things up, you are
yeah.
you asking for it. And so, as a sports agent, as I was navigating the waters of trying to be who I thought I was going to be, those things started to be compromised. My word and my name, and so I was very cognizant of what my dad had shared with me, and I didn't want to do those things because you know how it is, man. Your dad tell you, "Hey, man, don't go out there and embarrass my name."
Yeah.
Like that's all I'm thinking about. Like
Right.
I'm not about to ruin this dude's name, man. This dude might hurt me even more than he already has before.
He brought
So
you
I
in,
don't
he
want
can
to do
take you
that.
out.
Yeah, clearly. That resonated with me, man. And at one of those events, Reggie knows one of the AAU events that happened at Cal State Dominguez, where they have, their gym and they got four courts and they just got AAU games going nonstop. And on one side they have coaches, and on the other side they have the parents and all of the other people that are in attendance. But they try to keep the coaches, college coaches, on one side away from everybody. So I went to see my former coach. I was working as a sports agent. It was in the summer. And I went to see my former coach, Bob Williams, is the guy that I played for at UC Davis. He was now at UC Santa Barbara as the head coach. And so walking into the gym to see him, I mean, it's a crowd. It's crowded. I mean, it's everybody's in there.
Yeah.
AAU at the time it was way more concentrated than it is now. There was only so many events, and everybody was at those events. Everybody that was anybody was at those events. And so, long story short, man, Coach Williams I walk in the gym, and he's at the far side of the gym. And it literally takes me 45 minutes to get to him. 45 minutes from meeting and greeting, saying hello and all of the different things to get to him. And so I finally get to him, and he stands up and he doesn't say, "Hey, good to see you." He doesn't shake my hand. He just looks me right in my face, right in my eyes, in my soul almost. And he asked me a question. He said, "What the F are you doing?" And I'm what?
Yeah.
Where's that coming from?
Yeah.
And he asked me again. He said, "What the F are you doing? Get your ASS on this side where you belong."
Wow.
That was a Saturday. By Monday, I had already begun making inroads to go back to UC Davis, which is my alma mater, to start my coaching career. And it was at that point that the realization of the things that I had ran from, and mostly I'd ran from, I didn't want to walk in my dad's footsteps. I didn't want to be a coach. I didn't want to be little Ed the coach. I was
Right.
already little Ed's son.
Right.
I didn't want to be the coach. I didn't want to walk into his footsteps. And so I steered clear of that. But I knew it was in me. It was on me.
Yeah.
I needed to answer the bell. And so that was the point of transitioning from what else was going on to getting into what I now know was my path. This is where I'm supposed to be. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. I just hope that
Dedrique,
I'm doing it well enough. Yes, sir.
you said something that resonated me towards the end that you didn't want to follow in Pop's footsteps. Is part of that because you saw how much work and energy that was required of him? in order to be successful, or was it just simply just, I want to do something different?
I didn't know the work. I didn't see it as that. You know what I'm saying? Like I was just a little dude following my dad all around. And so what drove me apart, what drove me away from it was this. My dad was a pillar in the community. And so if we were outside the house, I mean, like you go down my street and people honking the horn, they waving out the car door. I mean, it's like seeing Obama, like everybody is saluting this dude. And I was like, no, I don't want to have nothing to do with that. Like going to the store with this guy. In our community, we would go in there for 3 items that should probably take 2.5 minutes. It would take 27 minutes to do that because he was meeting and greeting all these different people, all these parents, all these kids. And I just didn't understand the impact. And I didn't want to have anything to do with that. And it just shows how silly I was. And how not smart I was, because his impact to this day gets me in rooms that I don't belong in. And now I understand it. And now I understand picking up the baton and doing the hard work, doing the things that come along with that, but making the impact in the various lives that you're able to encounter with on a day-to-day basis, man. Like my dad is synonymous with that. People that see me, they'll ask me, hey, how you doing? How's your dad doing? I don't even get the answer to how I'm doing before they want to know about this dude. So yeah, that's where it started, man. And that's where it's branched off in so many ways. And no, it didn't unfortunately have anything to do with recognizing the hard work. I didn't, like I said, Reggie, I didn't know what I didn't know. I just knew I didn't want to be a part of like what this dude was, for full disclosure, another thing is I didn't want to be like, I had to share my dad. That didn't resonate with me. Didn't understand that. I would actually get pissed when people would come over and I'll be like, hey man, damn, we got somebody else over for dinner. Damn, don't this fool got another house? Like, don't this fool got a house? I didn't understand, nah, they don't have a house. Nah, they're not going to get a hot meal at their house. They don't have clothes. Like, I didn't understand the impact of what I was witnessing at such a young age. And it took me to grow. It took me through development of myself to understand, and not only understand it, but appreciate the impact that this dude has had. And now that I can try to emulate in some way, shape, or form.
That's wild. You say that because when you think about, when I know you, and I know Guyton's known you for a while too, one of the things I think about when I think about you is impact. That's one of your kind of your mission statement, in terms of being able to have impact on your student athletes that play for you and the people that are around you. One of the questions I had, kind of building on what Guyton asked, was, so you go into this, you move from the agent to the coaching profession, and you started out at UC Davis. Who was kind of your mentor in terms from a coaching standpoint, right? Because you hadn't coached before, right? You're kind of, building the plane while you're flying it in terms of this coaching career. So who were you looking at as a model? And maybe it was your dad, right, to kind of help you learn this new profession that you were pursuing.
Yeah, that's an awesome question. The guy that I worked for when I transitioned from an agent to being a coach, his name is Brian Fogel. And I would say he is probably the biggest mentor at the time, because it wasn't like he allowed me to come in and said, hey, sit over here and just do this. He said, get over here and you need to take care of and know all of this, from scouting to recruiting to laundry to checking classes to academics, to everything. It wasn't just a secluded situation. And so Brian Fogel exposed me to a lot of that. But I would have to say other mentors that were able to pour into me, or that did pour into me, Bob Williams, who is my former coach, Gary Stewart, who is now, he's been all over the world, but he's now at UC Merced as the head coach. Marvin Menzies, Trent Johnson, who's the former head coach at LSU, Stanford, TCU. David Carter, he was my transition from leaving Portland State to Nevada. I didn't go there to work for Mark Fox. I went there because Mark Fox gave me the opportunity to be alongside of David Carter. Marty Wilson, who was the former head coach at Pepperdine. And I say all these names to say this. At the time, they were probably assistant coaches, but they allowed me to be in their circle. They allowed me to sit with them at gyms and watch, read their notes, look over their shoulder, ask questions. Hey, why are you writing that down? Hey, why you like that dude? Hey, what are you doing? Well, you saw him play. You like him. Now what are you going to do? Hey, you saw him play. You don't like him. Now what are you going to do? Like they let me ask them all of these questions. And not only did they let me ask them, but they gave me pointed answers. And to me, I'm going to age all of us on this screen. Remember when E.F. Hutton, the commercial, when E.F. Hutton speaks, you listen?
Yeah. Right.
Those guys are in that circle for me. When they spoke, when they said something, and it doesn't matter what it was about, I literally would stop and listen to a point to where when Trent Johnson called me and I was assistant at Nevada and interviewed for Arizona State, I wasn't interested. I didn't want to leave. Hey man, we had just won 52 games in 2 years. We had won the league. We had been to the tournament, and we had just signed JaVale McGee, Luke Babbitt, Armand Johnson, who all played in the NBA.
Yep. On
the current team was Ramon Sessions, who played he played in the league for 12 years. Nick Fazekas. I mean, there's a number of pros, and so I'm like, no. But Trent called me and said, "Hey, man, you need to take the job."
Wow.
And I didn't even ask any questions. He said, I just talked to the dude. I've listened to the dude. He's talking about Herb Sendek. He said, you need to take the job.
Wow.
He said it. Bye. See ya. Next thing I know, I'm at Arizona State.
Yeah.
Wow. So that was a big move for you, because one of the things that, you've kind of done this assistant coach journey, right? UC Davis, Portland State, Nevada. Now you make the leap to Arizona State, and you're exposed. You just mentioned some pros that you were exposed to. One of the things that we were also curious about is that, you've coached and developed some really, really talented players. And everybody watching this who plays probably thinks they could play at the pro level, right? So you got over 20 years of experience kind of doing this. What's the difference, or what separates somebody who dreams about playing professionally versus someone who actually makes it, based off your journey and what you've seen and coaching all the talent you've been around?
That's a great question. I'm going to say I've been fortunate to be around a lot of talented dudes. And then I'm going to take it one step further and probably tell you something that is not normal. It is extremely unique to say these two words. And I'm going to say what separates those guys from reality to their dreams. Awareness. Awareness of knowing who you and what you are. And I always ask this question the first time we speak in terms of recruiting. Hey, man, tell me, if I'm a GM, tell me why I should pay you money and what should I pay you for? And, most of us, they rattle off 97 things. And to me, that tells me right then and there, they don't know. They're not aware of themselves. They think, I can go through this and do this and do. Man, let me tell you something about the next level. It is a truth-telling league. If you can't shoot, guess what? They're going to expose you. If you can shoot, they're going to expose you. But in my opinion, you need to be aware of those things and work towards it. Nowadays, as you know, the guys are getting paid in the NBA or at the next level for one skill. If you can do one thing really, really well, they're going to pay you a lot of money for those things. And so my thing is just from awareness standpoint, what is that one thing? Are you aware of it? What did the numbers suggest? What do they tell you? And now we have a base, we have a foundation of how we should go about our business every day in the gym, building habits that are not good habits, but great habits, things that you can do in your sleep, things that they're going to happen in your sleep. To me, those are, and I've grown to this point. It's not, I've not always been, this guy in terms of experience and knowledge. But yeah, being able to tell and to not only tell what you can do, but then go out and show it on a day-to-day basis, what you can do, how you can do it. And then, being a unbelievable guy. Don't be on time, be before. Right. If you're supposed to be there at 2, you better make sure at the worst you're there 10 minutes before. Right. But pros, if they got to be there at 2, they know, hey, man, I'm going to probably be there about an hour and a half before. They have a routine. And there's a rationale behind that routine that has very little to do with money. Or it's because of who they are. It's who they become. And, I get to make a lot of money out of this. There's a lot to that in terms of having a special type of awareness, but also being open to what people, your coaches, your trainers, whomever, they're telling you to create a different level of awareness so that it becomes your this example comes in your license plate. When a cop sees a license plate, they can tap it in and they know exactly who it is. Right. Can a GM tap in your information and find out exactly who you are? To me, that's the question.
Wow. The problem is that the answer to that question is yes, but that data, you want it to be positive and not negative.
Yeah. Well, hey.
So if you leave it in negative DNA, it's going to come up.
And that's the beauty of it, right? It's a truth telling. It's going to come up. If you're a bad person, hey, it's going to come up. They're not going to go to your coach and talk. They're going to go to your second grade teacher. They're going to go to your junior high school PE teacher and find out who you are. They're going to go find a girlfriend or a boyfriend from way back and find out who you are, what type of person you are. The guy that I coached at Arizona State that happened to be, the 3rd pick in the NBA draft. Hey, man, the teams had private security on this dude, private investigators on this dude, and we didn't even know. He didn't even know. Right. So if they're willing to invest all this money, you better make it worth your while. And also, they will be able to find out who you are, what you are, and there's no running from it. Like you could say, that's not me. BS, that's you.
That's you.
Own it.
Did you know that that 3rd pick in the draft that year, which is James Harden, I believe you're talking about, right? Mm-hmm. Did you know he was him when he came to ASU? Because I think he came to you guys. He was an All-American in high school, and then came to you guys. Did you know early on that he was him, or was that just developed over a period of time with your staff and with his approach?
I knew he was special. I knew he was special because if you look at the kid, he's 6'4", he's lefty, he's, as they say, he's big boned. He's got a lot of attributes about him. So I knew he would be special. I didn't know he was going to be the 3rd pick in the draft and do what he's done over the course of his NBA career. I would be lying to you if I told you he would be. I knew that. I knew he was special. But I'm going to call him significantly special because when you go around and you talk to that generation of good players, his name is mentioned. I didn't know that. Yeah. But I knew he had a certain level of talent, and he developed in my 2 years of being with him, or 3 years recruiting him, and all, the confidence level that he exuded went from this to this. And not from a confidence of arrogance, not from a confidence, but understanding who he was, what he had as talent, and then being able to work towards refining those things, but also understanding and realizing the best part about James's game is not his scoring, it's not his lack of defense, it's his ability to freaking pass the ball. Yeah. To manage the game from the top of the key and being able to manipulate the game through his passing, I think is special. So no, I didn't know he was going to be who he is. but I thought he was going to be. I thought he was going to be significant. Yes.
Wow. Yeah, it almost kind of goes back to what you were saying in terms of what you had your own E.F. Hutton, right? That group of people that you listened to and you executed. It seems like, based on what you said, good players or players who want to be great also have people they take direction from, listen to, and go out and execute and practice and develop those habits. If you were sitting in front of a group of high school kids, right, in a room full of high school students aspiring to play at a Division I level, what would be the 2 or 3 messages you would want them to walk away with, right, before they embark on that particular journey that will help them through that process?
I would want them to identify what hard work is.
Mm-hmm.
I would want them to identify, but then I would want them to be governed by executing that definition on a day-to-day basis.
Mm-hmm.
What is hard work? And not like one of the guys that I work with always uses this example. Like, we all go to Chick-fil-A, and Chick-fil-A says to you, hey, how may I serve you? That's their deal, right? Like that. And you don't go to Chick-fil-A and not walk away without noticing their customer service. They don't tell you their customer service. You just know it.
Yep.
And so that, in a lot of ways, becomes, in my opinion, that can become your calling card, like hard work.
Mm-hmm.
We know when we mention Tony Hampton, we know that mother trucker gonna come in here and he's gonna work hard as he's gonna get after it. I would say that, and again, I would point back to learning the awareness of who you are. All of us have a God-gifted talent. Mm-hmm. What is it?
Right.
And then living day to day to define and show what it is, so that when people know or see you come in or they see your name, they know he's gonna work hard. And this is his talent. And then I would say the other thing, man, and this has nothing to do with basketball, but it has everything to do with that. Be a good person. Don't be an a-hole.
Yeah.
Be a good person, man. Be a good person. Nowadays, that is a lost art, if you will. But for me, if you are any kind of butthole, hey, listen, you can be a butthole, but I don't want to have anything to do with you. Like, I recognize that's who you are.
Yeah.
Cool. Every time I see you coming, I'm going the exact opposite way. I don't want to have anything to do. I'm not trying to change you.
Yeah.
Nothing. I just don't want to have anything to do with you, because I'm not trying to be a bad person. I'm trying to be a good person.
But what if what if the talent is way up here, but the butthole is down here? In terms of the gap, then talent is so. I mean, can you deal with a little bit of that?
I've learned exactly, Reggie. I've learned over the course of my head coaching career that it's not worth it. And no, I can't. I thought as an assistant coach, I had all the answers. I could coach anybody. I could do anything. Like, just bring them in, bring them on. I quickly, after about 3 or 4 years of sitting in this seat, I quickly learned that element is going to show up everywhere.
So that's a good segue into what I wanted to talk to you about, is just your journey starting as an assistant coach. Mm-hmm. I met you when you were at Portland State, but I'm not quite certain of the other stops. I know Nevada, I know ASU and all that. My question is, what did you learn from those stops to prepare you to move one seat over and be the head coach?
A good question. Yeah.
I think the question is, what didn't I learn? I think I learned everything. And again, it goes back to the stories. But when I was a younger kid, I might have said the 7th or 8th grade. At any rate, we had a guest speaker come to our class, and he said, don't ever sit in a classroom or a situation and not learn something. Mm-hmm. And that's always stuck with me. And then that happened like when I was in the 7th or 8th grade. And so every coach, from Brian Fogel to Steve Aggers at Loyola Marymount, to Heath Schroyer at Portland State, to Mark Fox at Nevada, to Herb Sendek at Arizona State, there's a little portion of me that is them based on what I've learned from them. And that could be from an offensive standpoint, a defensive standpoint, academic standpoint. Hey, how do you handle this discipline situation? There's so many things that happen that those guys allowed me to be in their boat, rowing with them and learning with them and learning from them, learning through them, any kind of which way you can do it. Like behind me in that cabinet over there, there's a bunch of notebooks. And in those notebooks is a lot of the things that I've learned from, again, underneath out of bounds plays to how we want to play offensively, to how we want to play defensively, to, those are just a microcosm of what I thought versus what is happening in real time in this chair. And it looks like nothing like those notebooks, because in those notebooks, they're organized, they're put together, and man, your day as a coach, it ain't nothing like that. It is right. Unorganized. I mean, you got all kind of stuff coming at you, all kind of things dealing with, but that's life, right? Like just before I got on with you guys, I'm dealing with the situation with one of our players is a waiver, dealing with the NCAA, dealing with his mom, dealing with our compliance office, dealing with all of these things. It's not in that manual. Mm-hmm. It's how do you go about that? Yeah, that gave me a base. But as far as being able to learn and figure out things, you have to do it, unfortunately. But I couldn't be who I am without any of those guys in terms of the experience and what I learned from them. Yeah. I would not be me. There's no way I would be me if Steve Aggers didn't hire me at Loyola Marymount. And not only did he hire me, but he allowed me to be, I was the ops guy / the third assistant. And the third assistant restricted earnings. I only made $16,000 living in Los Angeles, by the way. But oh my gosh, what a learning experience and what an opportunity. Like, so now when I say, hey man, we got to go wash the laundry, I know what that means because I did it. Mm-hmm. Now, clearly it looks different now because back then you had to have $10 in quarters where all you need now is a credit card. But, we're not talking about that. But just the semantics and the details of being able to start and complete a task and understand what just transpired and what the outcome means. I think it's monumental to growth and development, and all of those guys allowed me to participate in that.
What was the biggest surprise that you may have had that you didn't that's not in that book behind you?
Yeah, the importance of being able to manage your program, manage your relationships, from coaches to academics to athletic director, to just managing those relationships. And I think that the one that's probably the hardest, managing relationships with your so-called friends, people that think you should hire them or you should give them this because you're in this seed. I mean, and that's one of the drawbacks literally of working here. I grew up 32 minutes from here. Mm-hmm. So everybody, all my guys, all my boys, they all still here. Right. They all still work and they still walking around like, hey, it's the benevolent offering. What can you do for me? Nothing, man. Get out of here.
Hook me up with some tickets, man. Can I get some?
All of that stuff, man. And the biggest one is gear.
Gear, exactly.
Give me some gear. Hey, man, I'm just fortunate to have on the daggum underwear I got on. What you talking about?
Right.
Wow. So let me check that off my box because I was going to ask for some gear.
Oh no, we for you guys, and let me say this in all sincerity, I could not be me without you, both of you, Reggie, Guyton, and Tony Hampton. There's no me without you, and so for that, if I got it, you got it.
I appreciate.
Don't ever be. Oh no, we ain't gonna bug baloney. If you don't bug me, man, because again, it's one of them situations where as you're coming up, there are certain people, there are certain guidelines, framework that come around you to make you and help you be who you become. And I said that as most improper English as possible. My mama used to be an English teacher, and she'll beat me for saying it that way, but I meant it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys, particularly, and Victor Mason is one of them. Like caught me at a very, very critical time.
Yeah.
Where I thought I knew everything. I had all the answers, and I am so thankful to be guided by you guys. Like, hey man, you can't do that. Hey, what are you doing? Get over here.
Yeah.
Things like so important. So
well, we
appreciate
obviously appreciate you being in our orbit as well, man. Because we could say the same thing. We could reciprocate that, man. I want to take you back to that AAU gym that you were in when the coach was basically saying, "Man, what's up? You know, when you gonna wake up, right?" And you immediately woke up. My question is, have you had a moment now, an aha moment or a defining moment, saying that I am meant to be here? You know, God has me here for a reason, and it's been impactful. I'm where I need to be.
Yeah. I tell you when that happens most is when I stand back. I'm in the gym and I stand back and I look at the other people that are in the gym. And there are people that I've either worked alongside with that are now head coaches. There are either people that I've worked alongside with that are now elevated into different positions. And sitting back and not taking credit for their success, because I would never do that. But being able to say that I was a part of their journey, it means the world to me. Like it happened yesterday, as a matter of fact. 2 Cal State Fullerton players. They weren't on the same team. They had never physically met each other, but they're aware of each other. They know each other. One is a professional player who was back for the summer working out. The other one just graduated trying to do. And for them to be in the same space and have a connection that I have something to do with, that literally brings goosebumps to my skin and tears to my eyes of joy. My heart smiles because it's at those moments that I can look and say, I don't think I'm embarrassing my dad's name.
Yeah.
There you go.
But I think I'm in the right place doing the right thing at the right time.
Right.
There you go.
And I am so grateful for those moments.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, well said. Impact.
Now I'm gonna ask you 2 more questions, and then I'll throw the baton back to Mike, to Hamp. But the first one is, in fact, Hamp mentioned it earlier about Think Tank. Tell us a little bit about that project and the inspiration behind it and all that other stuff.
Yeah, that was an impactful opportunity for us. When we first got to Cal State Fullerton, there were quite a few Black assistant coaches, and they would ask our staff, "Well, man, how does D do this? And how does D do that? And how does he? What does he think about this?" And I'm like, "Man, what? Stop asking me. Let's just get in a room at the end of the season, and let's not only ask me, but ask each other. Let's find out." And that is the metamorphosis of how Think Tank arrived. And we were able to put some teeth with it in terms of bringing in ADs, assistant ADs, search firms, other coaches, other head coaches. But that is how it started. Like, I wanted to share the information, the experience that I had. I didn't want to be what they now call the gatekeeper. I didn't want to be the gatekeeper of that information. And that was the intent, was connection. Being able to fellowship with guys that look like me, but also talk about the experience of how to continue the journey, how to advance the journey. And so we had a really, really good run of Think Tank. I think it lasted about 5 years, and it started with 16 guys. 16 guys. We got in a room right over here over my shoulder on campus one spring day. It was a half a spring day and a full spring day. And it ran its course for about 5 years, and we ran into that thing called COVID, and that shut it down. But the connection the collaboration has led to, I want to say, probably about 5 or 6 head coaching jobs out of that. And that wasn't the purpose.
Yeah.
But because we were in the room together, that's what happened. But I love the think tank, and I've been I won't say I've been trying to bring it back. People have been asking me to bring it back, and
yeah,
I don't mind. I want to, but just there's 2 things that preclude me from doing it. It's the time that we can get together because our schedules are so different now than they were then. And then 2, I have to make sure that it's intentional and that it is going to be impactful for my own belief before I embark upon that. And I want to do it. I want to bring it back online. But COVID knocked everything out, in terms of the think tank. So we need to recalibrate.
Yeah, that's incredible. I just recently read something that said that if you're not in a room where you are inspired by those in the room with you, you're in a cage.
Mm-hmm.
You're trapped,
oh man.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
being in that room obviously was powerful. And statistics, I've looked at some statistics over the last decade that shows that there's more Black Division I coaches, more Black ADs, more Black assistant coaches, et cetera. So it's been tremendous, man. It's been tremendous.
Yeah.
The last question I'm gonna ask you is another project you were involved with. Man, I was extremely proud. I don't think I talked to you about it in recent years or since I read it, but I read in USA Today about the Legacy T-shirts.
Oh yeah.
Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, that again, I'm going to go back to the word impactful and legendary status. During COVID, it shut us all down, and we couldn't do this and do that, and so different forms of connection began to show their face in terms of Zoom and during that time of COVID, you had the civil unrest, and you had a bunch of different things going on, and so for me, I just wanted to take advantage of having everybody's eyes and ears. And I thought that COVID shut us down to a point to where you didn't have anything to do but to watch what was going on and listen to what was going on. And so for me, I recognized that I thought, this is my opinion, this is me, I thought there was a gap between the John Cheneys, the John Thompsons of the world to our generation. And I wanted to try to connect us all back. And so what we did is we identified each, I think at that time it was 108 out of 365 Division I Black head coaches. And we developed 3 different shirts, and we put all of their names on the back, but we also put a quote on the front. I think it was 3 different quotes. There was John Thompson. There was Cheney, I think, was on there, and there was one other quote. But that's how
Raveling.
Yeah, George Raveling. That's how it started. But I wanted to pay homage to what had passed, but also the future, and just give us an opportunity to recognize that, and more so recognize each other and connect with each other. Give each other something to conversate about. And so that was the attempt behind that. And it turned out to be a influential deal, or impactful. I won't say influential, but impactful deal. There are relationships that developed out of just that, because there was a lot of those 108 guys on the shirts.
Yeah.
Half of them I didn't even know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I just called their assistant, hey man, what size shirt does your coach wear? Does your boss wear? Whatever. And just sent it to them. I didn't want nothing from them. I just wanted them to be able to recognize the fact that they're one of 108 at that time.
Yeah.
And the impact that you could have, but the legacy you could have, but also the place in life that you had. You one of 365 people in the world.
That's right.
Right.
That's right.
There aren't too many things that you can do where it paints a visual of actually what you're trying to accomplish, and that's one of them. It's one thing to say it, it's another thing to actually look at it and see it. Now, in there, you said something pretty powerful about John Thompson. You said that they don't really talk much about John Thompson from an X and O standpoint. It's more about leadership, mentorship, and some of those type of things. And Why did that resonate with you?
Because I think as gifted as we are as Black coaches, we can actually do both, and not only do both, but have a great deal of success.
Mm-hmm.
And the people, the guys that we're coaching, they need that.
Mm-hmm.
They need to be they need that mentorship. They need that guidance. But also it comes through the sport of basketball. So you have to be able to talk X's and O's. And to me, basketball is the greatest sport that we have in teaching life lessons.
Mm.
Because every day is not going to be Sunday. Every day you're not going to go for 13 for 15 or 13 for 18. You're not going. There are going to be days where you go 2 for 12 and 2 for 20, but that cannot impact your drive. That can't impact what there are other ways to have an impact on winning. And so being able to teach just that lesson is something that, but now all of a sudden we're exposed to money. And so you have an opportunity to the relationship with money. Our relationship from our community, I wouldn't say it's a positive one.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And so now we have opportunity where the NIL, now it's legal. They say the name and image and likeness. I say now it's legal because now all of a sudden we get this big sum of money, and now all of a sudden taxes and all of these different elements that go into allowing us to provide for our family, provide for ourselves at a younger age. But it's important that we take advantage of it to make it last.
Yeah.
But being able to have those types of conversations, to develop those types of relationships, I think are really, really important for what's to come. The part of your journey that you're not even aware of. Right. You need to prepare yourself right now in the part of the journey that you exist in. It's going to prepare you for what's to come. And I think those kinds of conversations, I think John Chaney, I think John Thompson, I marvel at some of the things that they were able to do and accomplish in that capacity.
Right.
And I think go ahead.
I was going to say, to be honest, man, I'm aware of those folks and their character and their moral values and their moral compass. I did not know until today about your dads. And so it seems to me that there are some parallels between your dad and those men as coaches. Am I right?
1,000% right. 1,000% right. So waking up in my dad's house, I got that. Mm-hmm. I didn't know it, but I got that. Yeah. The foundation was set. And then when I get out into the real world, you inevitably attach yourself to things that you're familiar with, things that sound familiar, that feel familiar. And those guys, they sounded and they felt familiar in terms of what they were doing and the impact that they were trying to make through the sport of basketball. I thought it was monumental, and it was definitely reminiscent of some of the things that my dad was talking about and teaching and preaching in his community, not only in our home, but in his community, in his house. I mean, in his church. Obviously, he's a well, not obviously, but he's a pastor. He's a minister now. So, there are other ways that he was teaching and preaching these lifelong lessons and these life truths. And yes, John Chaney and those guys, they look like my dad.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, when you think about what, and great discussion, and I like where Guyton was going with that in terms of, I think about John Thompson, and I think about the thing that stands out vividly in my mind, 1982, when Fred makes the pump pass, fake pass, and then he turns it and throws it to James Worthy, North Carolina, and they go and score and win the game. And then right after the game, James went right to Fred. I can't remember. It might have been Fred Brown, his player's name, because Fred had turned it over. It's a national championship game in the Superdome. Everybody's watching. So when you talk about impact and you talk about challenges, kind of walk me through from a coaching standpoint, was there ever a challenge that you had where you're like, man, did I make the right decision getting in this profession? And then at the same time, at what point do you feel like you were validated as a coach? Because to me, even though John Thompson lost in that situation, to me, he was validated as a leader, as a coach, the way he handled that defeat with his players.
Yeah, I think I'll share one story, and I believe it will answer both. It was our first time we were in the championship game of the Big West Conference tournament to go to the NCAAs. So we had played Thursday. We played the first round on Thursday. I think it's Long Beach. We beat Long Beach. We played on Friday. We played UC Davis. And at that point in my career, I was trying to gain that validation that you spoke of earlier in terms of, a coach and validate the fact that I knew what I was doing and all of these things. And so I'm working my behind off trying to accomplish these things. And lo and behold, 2018, we're right there. And I remember the game, beating Davis, going out of the arena, speaking to the media, and coming back, and I ran into our assistant coach, John Smith, who's a former head coach at Cal Poly San Luis Obispo, but I ran into him. And in a moment where you would think you got the world at your discretion, like you should be celebrating, and you have achieved one of the ultimate validations in terms of being in this championship game. The school itself had only been to the tournament one or two other times. And so here we are on the brink, and you would think, oh man, but I saw him and I literally collapsed in his arms, and I'm just crying. I'm profusely crying, not tears of joy, but tears of, I just heard what the coaches just said about me and our program. And they likened it to a one-off, an accident. And I'm thinking to myself, man, we just did all this, and we here we are in the championship game, and these white coaches, oh, he ain't supposed to be here. That's just love. And at that time, I felt a certain type of validation. Yeah. But 20 minutes later, I felt like I hadn't done anything. I was crushed. Yeah. And then the next night we go out, and I think we beat UC Irvine by 20 something points. And we go, and you talk about experiencing the ultimate level of validation. Yep. Yeah. I didn't know it then, because you're in the moment and you're trying to be, cool, calm, and collected, and all of these things. But I now look back on those moments, and I think this. I always tell myself this in terms of the greatest growth is in the times of despair. Right. When you think that something bad happened to you, it actually means that something good is just on the other side. As you opened up this interview or this conversation about, just on the other side of hard is success. Yep. And I have to tell myself that almost every day, because there are moments in the day I'm like, what the hell is going on? What am I doing this for? Why?
Man, Guyton, I hope we're recording this. We're recording this, right?
We are recording this, but on the other side of hard.
Because he said some good things about us too. I want to hold him to that. So we got to make sure.
The other thing, though, that he said in terms of it is not necessarily, most of us feel a victim mentality that is happening to us, not realizing that it's happening for us. That is meant for the good.
Yeah, so, no doubt. Yeah, that's it's hard to see that it's good that can come out of this situation, because you are literally in the depths of despair. You're trying to figure out how to hold on. Right. And you're telling me something good is going to happen out of this? No, that don't even go together. It doesn't sound right. Yeah. But I've experienced it, man. I've experienced it at a completely different level. And I'm just grateful for those opportunities that I get to learn. I get to grow, whether it's in good situations or bad situations. Nonetheless, it's an opportunity to grow. And that, if you cut me open, that's what I'm about. Yeah. Service to others through growth. Yeah. How are we growing? How are we developing? How are we getting better? Because as you know, if you aren't getting better, you're getting worse. You never, ever, ever stay the same.
So is develop you still a mantra for you?
It is.
Okay, I'm gonna ask you. I'm gonna ask you that question for a reason, because we're migrating to this whole modern era of college basketball, and you and I have Reggie and I have had this discussion offline. You got now the NIL, you got the transfer portal. 3 years, 4 years in running now, and it's running heavy. How has NIL changed this modern era? NIL transfer portal changed your approach as a leader, or has it? Because now you've got to try to adopt as well, not just you, but the other 364 Division I coaches as well have had to adapt, or you potentially fail.
Yeah, I heard it. Best said 2 weeks ago, a guy had a quote, and he said, "Adapt or die."
Yeah.
And I'm not willing to die. I don't want to. I'm just going to figure it out. And so the emergence of the NIL, the emergence of the transfer portal has definitely dramatically impacted and affected what we do and how we attain success. But we still are chasing and attain success. At the end of the day, that's what it's all about. It just looks different. And so we've talked about, we literally recruit a little bit differently in terms of there is no long-term development. It's more of, hey, man, I think you're really good. I think we can be great together. I'm not putting a period. I'm not putting a timeline on how long we're together. All I'm saying is I want to be together. And as we're together, let's be great. Let's be great. There's no reason for us to be great. And then after that 6 months or so, we have a discussion and we figure out if we need to re-up it for another 6 months or we need to go our separate ways.
Right.
No harm, no foul, no hard feelings. The only thing that I ask is that we keep a level of communication that is open. Don't feel like you have to do anything behind my back. No, man. What you have to understand is I want you to continue to grow. I want you to continue to get what you deserve. I just want to be a part of the journey. And our journey says that we are together for this amount of time, however long it is. 2 years, 3 years. I mean, we have one player in our program right now. This is his 4th year here. I didn't think I would ever see that. The guy's 6'11". I did not think I would see that.
Wow.
But in the same token, 2 of his teammates who were here for 6 months, guess what? They transferred. And I couldn't be more happier for them. In fact, I'm calling them, asking them, "Hey man, can I get a loan?" Matter of fact, I don't even want to. I don't want a loan. I need a grant. Like, give me some money and don't think I'm gonna give it back. But it's just the point of that's how we do business. I'm not saying it's the right, wrong way or indifferent, but I think that resonates with certain people for certain reasons. And whatever it is, I don't care. I want to be great. I want to be as great as we can be. And I want to have something to show for our time together. And after it's over, whenever it's over, ooh. But that's how we've adopted. Whereas we used to talk about, hey man, come here, grow and develop over the course of 3 to 4 years. Like transferring wasn't even on the docket. But now it's like, I can tell you right now, my team is here. We're in summer school. My team is here right now. And I can tell you on today, if not already, by official practice starting, 3 guys will already know they're going to transfer for whatever reason. They're too good. They're not getting what they thought they were going to get, whatever reason. 3 guys will already have made that decision by September when we start official practice that they're leaving.
Wow.
I know that.
Wow.
So, D, let me ask you this, because obviously the game has changed since you and I first met, and I was on the AAU circuit and you were doing your recruiting stuff. How are coaches handling scholarships? I mean, because you gotta, it seems to me that you have to re-recruit your own damn players every year. And you need to hold a scholarship because you may actually get the conference player every year from another conference that may want to transfer. How does that impact a high school senior that's really good? How are you guys handling scholarships?
For us, it actually works out really well because we take advantage of the fact that those high school players are not being recruited by conferences above us. Because the conferences above us, they're consumed with getting the MVP from that conference or getting the MVP from that league. to come. We focus in on high school guys because we know that those bigger schools are not interested in recruiting them. So we try to go out and get more talented guys than we ordinarily would get under the circumstances. Right. When you and I met, the guys you had on your team, it's crazy. They wouldn't get recruited.
I know.
But do you know where they went? I mean, obviously you know where they went, but the audience. I mean, we talk about Pac-12. And, I mean, I'm not talking about the lower echelon of the Pac-12, the upper echelon of the Pac-12.
Yeah,
they would not get recruited to today. Yeah. And so I would go and say, hey, man, come here, get in the cycle, get better, grow, develop, help us win some games, and then go about your business. But that's also just me. There's a coach on our campus. He's we're really close, really good friend of mine. He doesn't believe that. He doesn't like that. He don't subscribe to that theory. He gets pissed when guys come on his office and tell him they're leaving.
Right.
He literally gets pissed, but that's him.
Yeah.
I'm on the other side of, I know there's going to be a time from, the transfer window, but before the transfer window, after the season starts, before the transfer window actually happens, I bring our guys in and we have an open conversation. Hey man, what are you thinking? Here's what we're thinking. We want you back. Yes, there's been some conversations where, you know what? I think you should move forward and move on because what you want and what we want, there's no alignment there. So go get in alignment with what it is that you want. We've had those conversations. We've had the conversations of, hey man, we love to be a part of your success. We want to be with you. And they leave. Mm-hmm. It's just it's a part of the world now that I think you have to adapt to. And you can get mad, you can get upset, you can do all of these things, but what is that going to do? Mm-hmm. Who are you going to get mad at?
Go ahead, D. Go ahead, finish your.
No, go.
So how? And we're almost got a couple more questions for you, but how do you're an impact guy. Your dad was an impact guy. Thompson was an impact guy. A lot of the coaches you played for that mentored you were impact guys, meaning they were transformational leaders. So how do you be a transformational leader in what now really is kind of a transactional environment, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, is that, and maybe that's what that other coach you're talking about is maybe battling with. But it seems like you've kind of figured out the code to still maybe be able to transform in a transactional environment.
Yeah, and to me, I don't think it's a secret, but I know who I am. I am a transformational dude, and I fight for that every single day. Mm-hmm. If you want to make this a transactional relationship, cool, good for you. But I'm fighting for transformation in your world, in my world. Uh-huh. I am not here. There's a quote. I'm not here to change you. I'm only here to provide space for change to happen. Mm-hmm. And that to me is transformational. Mm-hmm. And if you subscribe to that, cool. And if you don't, cool. Get the hell away from me.
Right.
I just I try to identify who is and who isn't and act accordingly and not condemn those that are not like me. Wow. Because the only person that's going to get affected or get hurt or get run over is going to be me. Yeah. They don't care. They're on and they don't remember nothing. They don't care. Uh-huh. And so my point is, why should I put myself in those situations?
Wow. Good point.
Hopefully that answers that.
No, good point.
Great answer.
This has been an incredible discussion. Guy, you have any more insights or questions before we get ready to wrap up here?
Man, I got some insight on Dedrique. You said you remember the SL, the little bins.
Yeah.
What I thought about is when we went down to Oregon State for that USC football game, and we went on the golf course.
Oh boy, yeah.
If I kid you not, man. Because Dedrique's always been top self dressing. I don't care what environment we in, in the gym, on the golf course, out to dinner. It don't matter, man. So we at the golf course, man. First hole. we at the golf course, Corrales Country Club, man.
He had a new outfit.
New outfit. He buttoned up, man.
Looking fresh to death, too, by the way.
He casket clean. You would have thought he was Walt Frazier. I mean, he Clyde. he clean like that, man. Man, we halfway down the fairway, man. All of a sudden, man, this bird just dumped some crap on us.
Oh man! Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That is one of the most monumental experiences. And I just remember your wife, looking at me and just like shaking her head, like this guy.
And we're an hour away from the crib, so he can't go change shirts. Because we ain't even went to the game yet.
Yeah.
Nah.
Wow.
Yeah, that was a crazy deal. But you know what they say, when a bird poops on you, that's good luck.
There you go.
Yeah.
And maybe the seat that I'm sitting in now is a version of good luck. I had to go through getting pooped on.
There you go.
To sit here.
Man, that's a great way to spin it, man. And man, Dedrique, we've enjoyed having you on this will be the 8th episode of Run It Back when we do come out. This has been one of the better ones, man. We appreciate you joining us. Our only last question, and you going out, is, going forward, what does success mean for you going forward? What does success look like for you going forward?
It's a little bit different. My success is not tied up in wins and losses.
Mm-hmm.
My success is just finding a level of happiness, finding a level of joy, finding a level of peace within myself to share to those that are around me.
Mm-hmm.
I have everybody. No, it's not obviously, but I have 2 little girls. They're not little anymore. The 15-year-old who will be 16 in July. I got to buy her a freaking car. And then I have a 13-year-old who's a soccer phenom. And so trying to find joy and be happy for them. And the level of success means that they're taken care of.
Yep.
My parents are taken care of. They're in some way, shape, form, or fashion happy with their plot in life. And so that's what success looks like, man. It's just protecting those words, protecting my peace, providing joy. And it comes and goes. It's not, I know I'm moody. I'm a moody dude. I know this. I understand that. But those are things that are important to me. The next journey of my life. And this is not necessarily public. But man, I'm starting doctorate school in August, brother. And that is joy to me. That's happiness. That's success to me. If I can complete that program, to me, that's another level that has nothing to do with X's and O's. And it doesn't mean that I'm going to take my mind off of X's and O's, because that's my day job. But as I travel down this journey, finding success looks like, happiness, continuing to make it impact, continuing to build a legacy, continuing to define those things by the way that I live, which is a long-winded answer, but yeah, impact. Continuing to fight for impact, brother.
Right on. Well, Dedrique, we enjoyed having you, man. Thanks for joining the episode of Run It Back. And we look forward to having this one out.
Definitely, man. Thank you. Appreciate it. See you.
Right on.
Love you, boy.
Love you too, man.